We are operating in a system designed to overwhelm us. Every day is a barrage of sensory inputs and decisions that pull us away from our long-term goals. This chart tracks what scientists call decision fatigue. It shows our cognitive battery over a standard day. Willpower isn't a fixed character trait. It is a limited fuel source that drains every time you make a choice. Retailers and tech giants know this. They have spent billions engineering a frictionless economy where every barrier between your impulse and your money has been stripped away. One-click buys and hidden auto-renewals ensure that spending requires zero effort. Meanwhile, saving money requires constant, exhausting vigilance. If your environment is designed to make spending the easiest possible action, your income won't matter. The math of convenience will eventually outpace your ability to resist. To win, you have to stop relying on discipline. You have to become a systems engineer who deliberately manipulates the friction in your own life. The first principle of a resilient system is automation. Wealth building should be an invisible process that happens without a single daily decision. You create this flow by rerouting a portion of your paycheck the moment it is deposited, before you ever have the chance to touch it. This shows the routing logic. Your income node splits into two pathways, one for daily expenses and one for investment accounts. Automating this split removes the moment of hesitation. You cannot spend money that you never see sitting in your checking account. The second tactic is pre-committing to your future self. Move 50% of every salary raise directly into savings. This captures half of your career growth for your future, while the rest flows into your lifestyle. Your savings rate increases automatically. Removing friction from the saving process creates a structural momentum. Over time, these habits compound, making wealth accumulation a byproduct of how accounts are wired. While you make saving easy, you must make spending difficult. You need to deliberately sabotage your ability to act on impulse by adding roadblocks back into the system. The first defensive step is simple. Delete every saved credit card and shipping address from your browsers and retail apps. Locating a physical card interrupts the dopamine loop. That 30 seconds of friction is often enough for the rational brain to override the impulse. Second, perform a monthly audit. Hunt down unused subscriptions. Corporations rely on your forgetfulness. Cancel them immediately. Reclaim ground for your engine. Finally, you need a mental filter for physical purchases before you ever reach the checkout counter. This equation converts a price tag into time. A $150 item isn't just money. At $25 an hour, it represents 6 hours of your life spent at a desk. These three frictions, physical, temporal, and mental, act as a protective shield. They ensure that spending money requires a conscious, manual effort rather than a mindless reflex. When this architecture is in place, your financial baseline shifts. You move from a state of constant reaction to a state of total awareness. Living on financial autopilot removes the constant mental load of budgeting. You can spend or save with confidence, knowing the math was settled long before the urge to buy ever arrived. Higher income shouldn't just mean a bigger lifestyle. It should be the fuel for a system that captures that value and stores it for your future. Sustainable financial growth is rarely the result of sheer willpower. It is the outcome of an environment where building wealth has become the path of least resistance. You grind for 40 hours a week. The direct deposit hits your account. And yet, by the 15th of the month, the capital vanishes completely. You work relentlessly, but you have zero clarity on where your money goes. The standard human reaction to this anxiety is to clamp down. You swear you will budget better. You promise yourself that you'll spend less next month, relying on brute force willpower alone. But willpower is a finite, depletable resource. It degrades with every decision you make. Throw in a stressful commute, tight work deadlines, or simply skipping lunch, and your brain's defense grid collapses. The system fails because it is running on empty fuel. Sustainable wealth accumulation does not rely on your willpower. It relies on a rigid, automated architecture. We are going to install 5 specific upgrades to build a financial operating system that protects your money on autopilot. Financial control is not a measure of your moral discipline. It is strictly a measure of how effectively your systems operate in the background while you focus on living your life. You cannot optimize a machine you cannot see. The first step is establishing an uncompromising baseline of your current state. Upgrade number 1 is the 60-second daily balance check. Tomorrow morning, before you check your email or scroll social media, you log into all of your financial accounts. You look at the exact numbers. A vague, looming anxiety about your checking account is paralyzing. A concrete balance of exactly $412 is just data. This daily check replaces the abstract fear of the unknown with manageable numbers. Once you can see your money clearly, your next job is to actively protect it from your own immediate desires. This is upgrade number 2, the sleep on it threshold. You implement a strict rule. Any non-essential purchase over $100 triggers an automatic 48-hour freeze. This mandatory waiting period acts as an emotional circuit breaker. It severs the instant dopamine hit of hitting buy from the actual financial transaction. Given 2 days to cool off, the urge often evaporates. These first 2 defensive upgrades are designed to stop the immediate leak. By replacing guesswork with data and impulse with time, you have removed the 2 biggest obstacles to consistent saving. Leaving all your liquid capital pooled in a single massive checking account leaves it psychologically vulnerable. Your brain looks at that big number and treats it as generic spending money. Upgrade number 3 is the sub-account strategy. You take that single lump sum and divide it into specific, strictly named buckets. You label them emergency fund, next car, property tax. This triggers a behavioral response called loss aversion. The moment a dollar is assigned a specific name and a job, your brain becomes more protective of it. Stealing from a generic pile is easy. Rating your next car fund for a pair of shoes creates immediate psychological friction. Structural organization creates friction. Assigning a precise purpose to your capital is an effective defense against arbitrary spending. Now we move from defense to offense. Funds languishing in traditional brick-and-mortar bank accounts become lazy cash, losing value every single day to inflation. This chart shows exactly why we need upgrade 4, the high-yield pivot. Notice the flat, stagnant growth of a traditional 0.01% account versus the sharply curving exponential growth of a high-yield savings account. Moving your emergency funds here allows that capital to begin generating passive overnight compounding. Next is upgrade 5, cashback streamlining. You conduct a rapid audit of your current credit cards and map them against your highest spending categories. You actively pair specific cards with precise expenses, mapping a dedicated grocery card to your grocery spend, for example. This ensures you capture unearned capital on money you are already required to spend. Generating passive momentum does not require starting a new business. It simply requires a more ruthless optimization of the capital and transactions that already exist in your daily life. Look at the contrast. You started out in a state of passive anxiety. Today, you have the blueprint to become the intentional director of a streamlined financial machine. Predictable wealth building happens when your existing assets are forced to work on your behalf. When the architecture is sound, your progress is no longer tied solely to the effort of your next shift. The uncertainty of human willpower has been replaced by the mechanics of a system that functions regardless of your mood. Do not attempt to overhaul everything today. Your only job is to start tomorrow morning with a 60-second balance check to initiate the sequence. Action creates the data you need to improve. Implementing an optimized architecture is a practical step toward ensuring your capital stays where it belongs, with you.